Welcome back. Today I want to talk about building your meditation practice. How we can start from a short time to a medium time to a long time. What is most important in that progression? Is it the time? No, it's not the time. There's something else much more important in that. And I want to give you a little bit of a direction all the way into the very, very deep states of absorption and samadhi, union, right? The union state. The elusive union state, right? The coveted union state. That's where we're going. But along the way, we have to follow the progression or we're going to miss it. So how can we do that? What's actually important inside that? And what is going to drive you through that progression the fastest? Very, very important information. So let's get into it. So if you've come to this channel to learn about meditation, I hope that you have started with the Resonant Breathing App. So that's the first step, is to go ahead and get the Resonant Breathing App. And it's really wonderful because you don't have to understand all of it. You can just understand a little bit, that little introduction at the beginning of the practice, right? There's an introduction video in the app. You follow that, you pick the breath work under 7 breaths per minute, right? You just pick the one which is available, which is comfortable for you. Breathing at 7 breaths per minute will be too fast for some people. They'll have to go down to 6.5 or 6 or 5.5. And for some people, breathing at 4 or 5 breaths per minute will be way too slow. They need something a little faster. So you have to find your comfort level with the breath rate first of all. And then we just plug ourselves in and we practice for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. That's all it takes. We just want to start out with something really simple and really easy. Now, if it's feeling great and you want to continue and you want to go for longer, absolutely. But it's coming out of joy. It's coming out of progress. It's coming out of your skill getting into the resonant breathing. And that's our key word here through this progression is skill. Skill, skill, skill. That's what we want. We want to become skilled meditators, right? So first of all, we plug ourselves into the Resonant Breathing app. We try it for 5 minutes, and then we begin to notice, did I get any of the 4 proofs? So we got to know those proofs. The hands hot and heavy, the lips tingle, pressure on the dorsal vagal, skin tingles. These are very, very possible to be showing up, and they're all signs, they are proofs that you are awakening your parasympathetic system, the healing system in the body. We're getting out of fight and flight, and we're getting into the parasympathetic, and that's humongous. If you've done that, okay, if you did 5 minutes of meditations, and you felt that your hands were warm or hot, or dry, if you felt any of that, you had HHH, right? You had hands hot and heavy. And what's going to facilitate that more easily? That we are sitting very still. If we put the heart rate variability resonance and the sitting very still together, we get the 4 proofs very, very fast. So as best we can, we want to sit very still. And usually that's hard, but with the heart rate variability resonance, when we put these 2 together, it gets very easy. So that's our beginning. 5 minutes. Easy. Done. If we have success with that, let's say we do that for a week or 2 weeks. Now let's see if we can do 10 minutes of meditation. Go ahead and plug yourself into the heart rate variability resonance app and follow along for 10 minutes. And see again Did I get any of those 4 proofs? Do I notice any of the 4 proofs? Do I notice my hands are hot and heavy? Am I sitting very still? Do I notice my hands are hot and heavy? Do I notice that there's a little tingle in the lip, right? A little tickle in the lip? That's the blood withdrawing as the heart rate is lowering just a little bit. But I am noticing these things inside of myself. I'm actually here, and I'm actually noticing what is happening because of my meditation. That is the magic right there. Okay, we're actually in the room. We're actually present. And it's magical. It's just magical. All we do is control the breath. We follow along with the app. And pretty soon, we're noticing the 4 proofs. We're noticing there's pressure. There's increased pressure along the dorsal vagal complex. And we might feel some of that blissful tingling on the spine, or just increased pressure on the spine itself. It can feel like the spine feels a little compacted, and that's almost blissful. Maybe it's not quite there yet, but we're starting to feel that pressure, and eventually it will become very, very blissful, okay? And then, are we feeling the skin tingling? This is a really deep awakening of the parasympathetic system when you notice any part of the body is tingling. It's going to be the most relaxed part of the body. It might be your face. It might be your hands. It might be your forearms. It might be your chest. It might be your thighs. We don't know where it's going to show up first, but then it might spread to the rest of your body. All right, so those are the 4 proofs. We're going for 10 minutes. We notice the 4 proofs. We sit there and we enjoy them. And that's how we're going to take our meditation from, when we're ready, from 10 minutes to 15 minutes. Because we're going to sit there and notice the proofs, right? We're going to notice what the heart rate variability resonance is doing to us. We're going to sit inside of ourselves and notice what is actually going on. We're going to actually be present, right? And notice the 4 proofs. So, 10 minutes, heart rate variability resonance, 5 minutes, just noticing how we feel. And all of the proofs and the noticing inside of yourself is potentially blissful. So notice it, first of all. Cement it in your mind and in your body. Oh my goodness, I recognize this, right? This is the proof. The hands hot and heavy. I'm sitting very still and I'm noticing the proof. I'm sitting very still and I'm noticing the pressure on the dorsal vagal. And it's little bit by little bit as I continue to notice it. I continue to notice that it is a little bit ticklish, which becomes a little bit ecstatic, which becomes a little bit blissful, which becomes overwhelmingly blissful. That's the progression. But it started with the resonant skill. It started with the sitting very still skill. It started with the noticing skill. And so now we're doing 10 minutes of doing and 5 minutes of being. Very important, right? We're doing and then we're being. Do, be, do, right? The do, be, do idea. We want to do the meditation and then be the enjoyment, right? Very, very important. Being is an extremely important skill inside of our meditation. So now we're all the way up to 15 minutes. Now, what if we change things up a bit? Let's see if we can do all of it a little bit faster. Can we do 5 minutes heart rate variability resonance, and then 5 minutes of noticing the proofs, and then 5 minutes heart rate variability resonance breathing, and then another 5 minutes of noticing the proofs? And now you're really giving yourself this chance to enjoy do, be. That's what we want. We want to allow ourselves to let go. When we let go, we are entering into this phase of the meditation which is the after effect poise state. We did some work. We hope that the resonance and the sitting very still is coming together. We're getting some of the 4 proofs, and that is washing us deeper and deeper into a subtle and then a more profound freeze response. So now we have sense withdrawal if we notice some of the freeze response. So if we have any of the 4 proofs, we are awakening the system that's going to give us the very powerful freeze response. That's the beginning of it. The 4 proofs are the beginning. So bit by bit, we are going into the parasympathetic, and it's going to give us 2 huge things. It's going to give us the freeze response and the tranquil breath, right? So I have that video. What is the tranquil breath? What is it about? What does it look like inside of you? How does it show up in the body, right? Very, very important that we understand to recognize the tranquil breath. Very important. But even if we don't slip down into that shallow breath rate, right? That's what the tranquil breath is. It's this breath that's way, way down. It's a deep diaphragmatic breath rate. That's the secret of the tranquil breath, of this very, very low breath rate. The breath sinks down, way, way, way down into the diaphragm. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, okay? So if we can do 5 minutes, heart rate variability resonance, 5 minutes letting go, and then try it again, and then again, let go. That letting go is a skill. That noticing what the resonance did to us, and then what happens to us when we let go. We have a really powerful chance, when we're doing it twice, over and over, we have a powerful chance to encounter more freeze response and more of the tranquil breath. So we have a wonderful chance in just 20 minutes of noticing one or both of those. But let's say we do 5 minutes and we notice proofs. We do 5 minutes, we notice proofs. Hallelujah. Perfect. That's what we want. That's the place we begin, and we continue to generate the skill. We continue to work on the skill. And little bit by little bit, we get better and better. We notice a little bit of freeze response. We notice a little bit of that shallow breath work, that automatic breath work that takes over. And now we're really cooking in this meditation progression, aren't we? The really big things in meditation are the tranquil breath, the freeze response, and the roll-up of consciousness. All of that. So I talk about the roll-up of consciousness. I demonstrate the roll-up of consciousness. You can watch it in Kevin on The Big Bliss. Kevin goes through the roll-up, and we're talking about it as it's happening. And that's keeping him out of a very deep state, but we get to see it. That's the point. We get to see this roll-up of consciousness go through him. And when you have those 3 things, tranquil breath, freeze response, roll-up of consciousness, you are very, very, very good at meditation. In that moment, when you get all 3 of those, it's a gigantic accomplishment. And when you can get those more and more consistently, all right, first we'll hit them, and then we won't notice them. They'll stay away. And then we hit them, and then we won't notice them. And then we hit them, and then we hit them, and then we hit them more and more often. You'll encounter these deep things inside of yourself more and more often as we learn to practice, let go. Practice, let go. That letting go will facilitate those deep states more and more often in your practice. And that's where the magic is. Those 3 things. They make you a master of meditation. If you can do those 3 things, that's it. There's more, okay? There is more. But at this point, you're basically a master of meditation if you can do those 3 things, all right? In my book, if you can do those things, you're guaranteed that at some point, all of your meditations are going to become extremely magical, extremely deep, extremely connected to the higher self. What we're doing is we're trying to create a progression which is going to let us love our meditation. Because if we're forcing ourselves to sit for a certain amount of time, so I had a wonderful student, I just talked with him, and he said, you know what, I'm going for about an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm feeling really good. And then all of the momentum that I have created, and the letting go, and the sitting there, and the feeling the good feelings, it tapers off, and then I'm forcing myself to sit there for another 15 minutes so I can complete a set amount of time that I thought I should be meditating. I said, well, you probably want to get rid of that last 15 minutes and just get up and walk away. Now, if you're in a deep state and it's really, really wonderful, well, we should soak it all up as much as we can, because we're training ourselves, right? We're training our understanding, we're training the subconscious understanding, we're training the body itself to understand what we're doing, so that when we sit in meditation, it comes faster and faster, easier and easier, because it's so much a part of us. So when the deep states come, forget everything else, right? Forget the technique. Oh my God, the deep state is here. Just soak it up. You don't need to worry about anything else. Lahiri Mashaya said, when the tranquil breath shows up, forget the Kriya. You don't worry about the technique. The technique was to get you to the deep state. Once you're in the deep state, hallelujah, you're where you're supposed to be. Don't go back and look for more of the technique that gets you the deep state. You're in the deep state. You don't need the technique to get you in the deep. You're in the deep state. Right? It's easy. And yet, yogis get it wrong, because they understand that the technique is very important, and they're right. But the technique has a purpose, which is the deep state. So don't forget that, okay? When the deep state shows up, our first thing must be enjoy the hell out of it as much as possible. Soak it up. Make it a part of you. This is mine. This is where I belong. This is what I came for. And we'll get too excited, and it'll break us out of the deep, calm state. That's also normal. Oh my goodness. And it might scare us. Some of these states are really big, and we go, whoa, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And that's okay. That's also normal, okay? When we get, oh my God, this is so much bigger than me. All of my deep states, I went into the deep state, and it freaked me out. And so that's normal. Your psychology, your understanding has to become at home with it, because everybody knows the Star Trek slogan, right? To boldly go where no man has gone before. That's you. You're going out into spaciousness. Oh my goodness. And how many people have been there and reported back, right? How many people leave breadcrumbs along the way for you to follow? Well, certainly some, but not enough to make it easy, and not enough to make it natural. And so when you get there, you're that first explorer. It feels like you're that first explorer, and you go, whoa, I don't know. I don't know. That's normal. We just sneak up on that state, and we sneak up on that state, and we sneak up on that state, and pretty soon we go, oh, I've been here 100 times. I get this. And we ease our way into it. But we had to come back over and over again. So when it peaks and then it goes down, and you're not really, really enjoying it anymore, and you're just sitting there because I think I should be sitting here because of a certain amount of time, well, now you're in time. You're in the left brain, and you're giving yourself a dictate from the left brain. I think this ought to be correct, right? You're in the left brain to think that, and you're no longer soaking anything up. You've already peaked and you've come down, and so now you're creating a house divided. Part of you wants to sit there for time, and part of you knows that I've already soaked up as much as I could for this session. And so when your mind starts to wander, I'm just forcing myself to sit here, and the mind is thinking about all the things I need to do. Well, now we're not meditating. Now we're creating a bad habit. And my guru Ashok Ji was very, very clear on this. If you're sitting in meditation thinking about all the things that you ought to be doing, right? If you cannot push those aside, get up and go do them. And then come back. Because otherwise you're split and you're not actually there. And that's what we want. Remember, we want to be here. We want to be interested. We want to be noticing what the meditation is doing to us. We are present, right? That's the magic. We don't want to lose that magic and become divided because we think we have to sit for a certain amount of time. That's not it, okay? Just enjoy it as much as we possibly can, and when it tapers down, now it's time to wrap it up. Or to start a slightly different practice. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of discipline, and that was the bringing us here. And we went through the process, and it peaked, and then now we soaked up as much as we can. It's a good time to go ahead and wrap it up. Keep all of the momentum inside of the meditation. Don't force yourself into a habit of the left brain thinking, right? I have to, I ought to. It's not based on skill. It's not based on enjoyment. Now it's based on force. And now your meditations are about force going forward. And I don't want that for you. I want your meditations because you absolutely love it and I need it. Oh my God, I need that resonance. I need that little tickle of bliss. I need that tranquility. I want it. I need it. I know how to find it. I don't find it every time, but it's getting more and more consistent because I keep coming back. More soup, sir! I keep coming back for soup and it's magic. I love it and that's why I'm here. And that will propel you through your meditation practice. Oh my God, will it propel you through your meditation practice because you actually love it. It's coming out of you. I want it. I love it. It's working. It's based on skill. It's based on love. It's based on competence. It's based on faith. Your own experience is propelling you forward. You have the proof yourself. That creates absolute faith. You know it works. That will bring you back over and over and propel you in a way that force never, ever would. Never. All forceful meditation practices, sometimes they get a miracle and they let go. But a lot of times they fizzle out. A lot of the percentage is very high that they fizzle out, that they hate meditation, that it doesn't work, that they're wandering, the mind is wandering. We're working with the mind. We have to be friendly with the mind because we're working with the mind. Otherwise, it will get distracted, it will get sleepy, it will rebel, and we want to be aligned. And that's what the love of meditation will do for you. It will align you. All right, we got our 20 minutes. This is a hero's beginning to meditation. 20 minutes is magical for a meditation practice. And maybe to other people that doesn't seem to like a lot. To me, it's huge. You are on course, man, and you love it, right? And you're building it. And pretty soon you'll be sitting there for 35 minutes or 45 minutes because, well, it's just so good. I've got to be here for it. That's what we want. Easily and effortlessly, completely aligned because we love it, right? Now the heart is actually in it. Now we can begin to throw in some bliss and throw in some expansion. So go and watch the cute baby meditation. Very important. You can put it in the beginning. You can put it in the middle of your meditation. You can put it at the end of your meditation. Practice the cute baby meditation every single day because it's working with the exact part of the brain which creates bliss. And we want it. We want that bliss, all right? Just a little bit of bliss. We have to practice joy to experience joy. Very, very easy, okay? Then go and watch Hakala. Learn about expansion. Learn about this feeling inside of yourself of expansion. because at a certain point, you are going to get these deep states I'm talking about, the tranquil breath, the freeze response, and the roll-up of consciousness. You're practicing the Om Japa in the chakras, right? You saw the big bliss, and you're practicing the Om Japa in the chakras every day, right? And so you're going to have a roll-up of consciousness eventually. And when you have these three things, tranquil breath, freeze response, roll-up of consciousness, your meditation journey is pretty much almost done. And all we really need now is a little bit of bliss and a lot of expansion. And that will bring us into absorption and samadhi. Okay? That's the progression. We had the freeze response, that is sense withdrawal. We have the tranquil breath. We're in the very, very low idle state with those. We did the Om Japa, and so we have a roll-up of consciousness. We're in the brain now. We're where we need to be. The easiest place that it is to put our minds on expansion. So by understanding Hakala, by understanding that feeling, we can begin to feel what it is like to feel expansion. And maybe you'll have a mini-absorption. You'll feel yourself in the air around you. And now you are expanding. Your consciousness is no longer confined to this little tiny space. You're actually expanding. This is a magical time. This is very, very deep. We think if feeling ourselves in the air around us might be minor. It's not. It's humongous because now you're actually feeling the process of expansion. And all of that little bit of bliss, that little bit or a lot of expansion will take you into absorption and samadhi. That's the course. Don't worry. Don't obsess about samadhi. Don't obsess about it. Obsess about the little steps, all right? Obsess about heart rate variability resonance. Obsess about the 4 proofs. Obsess about feeling, noticing the tranquil breath, the freeze response, and the roll-up of consciousness. These are the skills that will set you up. Obsess with the cute baby meditation. Obsess with Hakala and any kind of expansion exercise. Obsess with these. These are the skills. This is what will give you the deep, 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 deep states. All right? This is what we need. And it all started with 5 minutes and learning to love these new skills inside of ourselves. It makes it so easy. It makes it so clear. It makes it so doable, so workable. We've taken all of the junk out of the process, and I'm just giving you the very easy, straightforward, clinical skills that we need to develop inside of ourselves to encounter these very, very powerful, deep states which are inside of you right now. They're hiding from you, and we're just going around bit by bit by bit by bit, uncovering them. But it's all inside of you. I'm going to have an hour-long satsang tomorrow on Patreon. So if you didn't know, this is what we're all about on Patreon. We're doing our satsangs at a time. Everybody's invited. Come and see the satsang. Join us on Patreon. Throw in your question. It's only so many questions I can answer in 1 hour, but I try to answer everybody's question every time. It's been really great. So maybe I'll see you there tomorrow. I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next